All right, Ryker here has some potential for separation anxiety. Now, his kennel is right back here behind the couch, and I came over to just kind of gauge his perception of the kennel. I was tossing treats in there. He was walking without any hesitation to go get them. So I'm going to show you kind of the difference, and you'll be able to watch this later on. So Ryker went in. Actually, let's do this one more time. I'm going to have you kind of come. I'm going to have you sit right here. Yeah, keep it rolling. So this way you can kind of just film right over here. So I just want to show Ryker's body language. Pretty comfortable when he went in there. Now I'm going to have you do the same thing. You got it, all right? So just keep on filming there, and see how he moved away there.
Yeah.
This is because the guardian, and a lot of guardians do this, will kind of put the treat in there and then slam the the door shut. The dog feels trapped. So the first stage I'm going to ask you to do, and we're going to kind of talk about a bunch of stuff on this one, we're probably not going to show it all, but I want you just to have treats like this. Every once in a while, get up, go over here, toss a treat in there, let him go get it, say ring, if that's going to be the new word you're going to use for it, and then once he goes in there, say make sure you say ring when he touches it with his lips, and then go walk away. And then he gets to come out. You want to keep on doing that when you're watching this. I wish I was filming it a little bit earlier, because when I first was throwing it, he was walking in very comfortable. Once you did it, he kind of was. He looked around. He paused. And then when he went in there, he came out right away. And sometimes they'll lean way far forward trying to get the treat without stepping into the kennel. So those are all signs that he's not comfortable with the kennel. So what we want to do is, the first thing we want to do is keep on practicing having him go in and out of the kennel without closing the door, without smashing him or tricking him to go in there, and assigning the new command word. Used to say kennel, but I think that word has some negative baggage associated with it. So just by coming up with a completely new word and assigning it with high-value training treats, we can help eliminate that. So what we want to do is, I want you to do this several times throughout the day, preferably after he's taken a nap or slept between, and just do one, then an hour later do another one. Sometimes you might have him come over 5 and do 5 in a row. We want to keep on doing it till when he comes over, he doesn't like stop and look up at you. He just goes in there, gets it, and comes right back out. Okay. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now what I'm going to have you do is, I'm going to have, if you can come over here, I'm going to have you just sit down right there, and I'm going to kind of show what I'm going to do next. And this is going to be a little bit more, I'm going to probably do a pantomime without him. Actually, here, Ryker, everybody, here. So the next stage, what I do is, and this is something where you want to keep on practicing what I just got done describing before you take this next step. Now, the fact that I'm this close to him makes him probably think I'm going to try to trap him in here. So if that's the case, try to stand a little bit further away. And if he won't come all the way in, I did this off camera, or I think I did it on camera, where he threw one. I can't remember if I did it on or off camera, but if you can't get him to go all the way in the kennel, just throw one in front of it. If you won't come even this far, put it right there. So we want to just get in getting closer and closer, kind of like a bad pool player. You just gotta keep on getting your ball closer to the pocket. Eventually you'll be able to knock it in. Mm-hmm. And then eventually he will start going in there to get it. Now, this is where I'm going to pantomime because he's not in there. So what I'm going to do is, once you get to the point where he goes in there without any hesitation, I'm going to toss the treat in there. He goes in there. I'm going to silently come up behind him, and I'm going to be stopping right here, blocking him from exiting the kennel. The kennel door is open. I'm just using my legs to stop him from getting out. I wait for the dog to be stationary. Stop trying to paw or whine or move. As soon as he's stationary, I take a step back. Just 2 steps only. When I do this, it's going to cause him to want to come out. When he does, I take a step forward very quickly to communicate I don't want him to come out. I wait for him to be stationary again, and then I take a step back. And if he stays stationary, I take another step back. Don't move too far away too quickly though, because then he'll start escaping out of it, and we don't want him to do that. What we want him to do is understand that when I put you in the kennel, I want you to stay in there, even though the door is open. And so because the door is open, he doesn't have that feel of being constricted. And the other problem that dogs have with the kennel, well, the 2 problems dogs have with the kennel is usually I'm restrained and I'm being left alone. Well, when we're doing this, we're helping him practice being in the kennel. First of all, we get him to go in the kennel over and over until he's comfortable and he has no hesitation. The next step is to have him stay in the kennel with the door open. That's why we do this moving away, 1 step at a time, pause, 1 step at a time, and he's not allowed to come out at all. Now, when I get to about maybe 4 feet away, I would kind of stop and wait. At this point, we're waiting for him to sit down. As soon as he sits down, I want to take a step backwards, left to right only. When he sits down, he's saying, I'm putting myself at a bit of a disadvantage. And so we want to say, I appreciate you challenging me less. So I moved myself further away from the door. Ergo, you got yourself closer to exiting the kennel. Now I wait at that distance until what I'm waiting for, and the first time you actually do this where you're putting him in here, you have to make sure you don't have anything else going on. You have to outlast the dog. So if you have to stand here for 2 hours, and the record for this, my first long-time record was 1 hour and 10 minutes, and it was done by a boxer who would not lay down. And he drooled in his kennel to such an extent that guardians thought he was urinating in the kennel. There was that much volume of drool. So basically, as soon as he lays down, it's his way of saying I surrender. As soon as he lays down, I'm going to take a knee and say come, or here in his case. He comes out, I'm going to give him the treat and say here when he comes out. Then he can go do what he wants to do. Wait a little bit of time after doing that, then come over and do the tossing the treat without blocking him, let him go back in there, and keep on doing that until he's nice and relaxed going in there. Then you can repeat the process. After you've done this enough, when he lays down, when he starts laying down within about 10 or 15 seconds of going in there, then you want to start increasing the length of time he has to stay in there before you give him the release word. So maybe after he lays down, we wait 5 seconds, then I say take a knee and say come, or here in this case. Then when he's comfortable at 5 seconds, then I go up to 10 seconds. Then 15, then I usually go by 15-second increments all the way up to 1 minute, and the 1 minute increments. Different dogs need different lengths of time. The maximum you will ever have to do is 2 hours. Once a dog can do something for 2 hours, they can go beyond that without any hesitation. So you might not have to go all the way to 2 hours. You might have to only go to 15 minutes, but every dog is unique. So I'm just want to give you kind of the blueprint, not a blooper. So eventually when you get to the point where he is staying in there and you can actually walk away and go sit down on your couch without standing here, and he understands I can't come out of the kennel till I hear the release word. I would give him a unique release word for this. You know, he's a boxer, so I'm trying to think of some boxing analog, but I mean, maybe you say, you know, come, and here is his normal word to come to you, or release, or parole. Even though we talked about not using negative words, but parole would be probably a good word. If you're in prison, you want your parole. So you say parole or release. Release is probably more applicable. And then the second he comes out, you pop that treat in his mouth and say the word release. That's how we assign it. So the first several times that you're doing this, when you're telling him he can't come out, when he does come out, when you give him that treat, say the word release. After a while, release will only mean I get to exit the kennel. I had a dog that I would do this with. After a while, I could actually come home, open the kennel, go into the other room, change clothes, go to the kitchen, start making dinner. And then when I would say, when I was ready, I would say the release word, and then she would run out. So until then, she had to develop self-control. So basically what you want to do is keep on going up to a period of time. So we're helping him practice be in the kennel completely calm. And because we're here, he's comfortable with it. Now once you get to the point where he can stay like 15 minutes, a half an hour, whatever the length of time is while you're here, then you go back to square one and do the whole thing. But this time, once he lays down, you just close the door. Don't slam it and don't latch it. Just close it. And then walk a step away. If he gets up, just wait. Wait for him to lay back down before you start moving away again. When it gets to the point where he stays laying down with the door closed and you're right here, it's not latched. And then we're going to go back to the 15-minute mark or whatever the mark is. Now, again, I went 5 second, 10 second, 15, 15, 30, 45. I've had some dogs where I have to go about 1 second at a time all the way up to 60 seconds. Depends on how bad he is. If he starts panicking, freaking out, we push too far, too fast. The idea is for him not to react at all in the kennel, to be completely calm. And then once you can get to the point where the door is closed and you can get up and move over there, he can smell that you're here, he's heard you haven't left, you're watching TV, doing your own thing, then you come over and you open the door and give him that release word to come out. The next stage is repeat the whole process, but this time latch it. And eventually you want to do this where you're doing it, and then you actually get up and you go in your bedroom. So he can't see you. Now, he can't see you anyways because of this, but he can smell and hear you. So we want to get to the point where we're practicing having me in the kennel while you're in the other room or somewhere else where he can't see or hear you. He knows you're still here. So he doesn't go in that panic stage. And the idea is, like I said, we just want to have him practice being in here so that this is a nice, comfortable place for him to hang out. Now, a couple other little tricks of the tree that you can do. Sometimes I'll grab a high-value treat like this and I'll just leave it in here without doing the exercise. So every time I go in there, I get this really tasty treat. Or anytime you get him a bully stick, or a cow's foot, or a cow's ear, or a pig's foot, or whatever it is, he should find it in there. So every time he goes in there, something positive happens to him. Now, a lot of dogs really like marrow bones. Do you know what a marrow bone is? Marrow bone is basically, it's like if you have the bone here, it's sliced. They have like 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and there's marrow inside what we actually have in our bones. It's really rich, and it smells kind of nasty to me. You know, to make you smell like your dog has been eating seafood. What I would do is get one of those, let him get used to chewing on it out here, and then take it away from him, put it in the kennel, and close the door with him outside of the kennel. We want him to be like, I want it in there, I want that marrow bone. And when we get to the point where then you, after a minute or two, you go over, open the door, let him go in there. Don't let him exit. Block it with your feet so he has to stay in here eating it. So the only time that he gets the marrow bone is when he's in here. So again, another way to create a positive association with the kennel. I've had some people that actually they're frozen, make sure they keep them frozen. It'll take a minute or two to thaw enough where he'll show interest. But I've had people that drill a hole through the marrow and take a zip tie and zip it to the back of the kennel. So the only way that the dog can eat it is by being in the kennel and the door's wide open. But again, we're creating another positive association with him being inside the kennel. So we're going to go through another exercise related specifically to stopping him from the triggers that cause his separation anxiety to kick in the next video. But this is basically a quick summation of how you can get your dog to go into the kennel and feel comfortable. Before we end it, I have a lot of other videos on doggoneproblems.com for this one specifically. There's a dog named Nikki in Santa Monica. She's a black lab. She has a turquoise bandana in the picture. And she was literally breaking teeth trying to get out of her kennel. Her separation anxiety is so bad. I did a couple of sessions with them, and there's some great videos on hers and for other ones where I talk about this process of having the dog go in the kennel. So I call it kennel exercise. So just search for kennel. If you go to doggoneproblems.com and click on the dog training tips, on the left side of the page there's going to be a search box. Just type in kennel or kennel training or kennel exercise. You'll get a whole bunch of other write-ups where I go through this exercise in a little bit greater detail.